Resume.
Welcome, everybody, not only to I believe, the last day of July. Let me double check the calendar. Yep. Hard to believe, approaching August. And Greg and I are really excited to have this opportunity to present this to you this morning. So quick introduction. I am Andrea Leonard. I am a 39-year cancer survivor and the president and founder of the Cancer Exercise Training Institute. And together with my marketing guru, Greg Hendrickson. I'll let him just say a brief hi and introduction.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's session. I've been working with Andrea and CETI for just over 4 years now. I can't believe that, but it's been an amazing journey working with Andrea and learning about the amazing course she offers, and I've been gratified to work with a lot of cancer exercise specialists to really turn this into a business. So I look forward to hopefully working with you all in August, and yeah, let's get started here, and we can show you how to get after it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it might even be 5 years, but the one thing I want to say before we get going is the difference that Greg has made, for the company, for Cancer Exercise Training Institute, but for all the individuals as well. And so having him as part of this training has really been an amazing opportunity for so many people in terms of branding as a cancer exercise specialist. And that's a little bit about what we're going to share with you today. So Greg, you are the slide mover.
All right, give me just a sec here. There we go. All right, I'm on it.
I'm on it. All right. So truly, we are, as a whole, I actually refer to us as a family. And pardon me, I'm getting over something. It's an elite team of professionals. We have trained over 17,000 people in 53 countries, and it's a multitude of health and fitness professionals, from Pilates, yoga, personal training, to doctors, nurses, physical and occupational therapists, etc. But just in general, when you look at the numbers, and this, I'm sure it's changed a little bit, but let's say we have roughly 350,000 personal trainers running around. And what sets them apart? When I started as a personal trainer in 1992, it was a fairly new field, and it didn't take a whole lot to stand out from the crowd. But, at the time, people looked at your muscles and, if you had a six pack and who your clients were. And that is obsolete now. The market, the general public knows what to look for, and they are looking for a pedigree. They are looking for something that sets you apart from everybody else. So this is kind of rhetorical, but ask yourself, what do you have as far as degrees or specialty certifications? And it's always a good time to learn and to change. I'm 57 years old, and 2 years ago, I started a master's program in functional nutrition, which I'll finish in 2 weeks. So don't be intimidated by the fact that, whatever age you are, you're in your 20s or you're in your 70s, it's never too late to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to change.
If I can just add one thing in there.
Yeah.
What we've seen over the past couple of years too is, the group. I mean, you have an amazing group as a trainer, as a physical therapist, as a doctor, bringing this specialty into a host of different fields has been incredibly valuable. So, I mean, we have physical therapists, physiologists, personal trainers, doctors, oncologists who are taking the course and offering something that's new to their field. So it's pretty important.
Yeah. And even if let's say, for example, you're a massage therapist and you're like, well, this is a course on exercise, how does that pertain to me? Well, as a massage therapist, I know a lot of therapists incorporate different stretching techniques and what have you, and having a better understanding of the lymphatic system, how it's affected by, cancer treatment, what type of pressure you can apply. And don't get me wrong, we're not training you to be a massage therapist, but I'm just saying everybody can adapt the course material to their modality, whether you're using gym equipment or you're using yoga or meditation, you name it. And as a medical professional, if you want to bring this into your practice, this offers a pristine opportunity to set your practice apart from others, because just like personal trainers, I mean, not to minimize the importance of doctors, but they can be a dime a dozen as well as any other profession in the world. So while this is, speaking to trainers, that is by no means intended to limit that. Greg?
All right. Well, so what we found over the course of working with a lot of cancer exercise specialists over the last couple of years is that there's really two parts to success as a cancer exercise specialist. Part one is what you're going to learn from Andrea in incredible detail over the course of, either going through the self-study course that's available with CETI. She's going to show the books here. We've got over 500 pages of material that you use to learn about these different cancer modalities and how to turn that into really high quality exercise programming for people. So that's part one of the equation. And part two of the equation is sort of turning that into practice and, thinking about the business side of things. So how do you take all of this knowledge, this technical knowledge about exercise and exercise programming, and actually bring it into, your community where you want to work? What is the group of people that you want to work with? So that's part of, really the core of what I help folks think through over the course of a month in taking this class is don't only focus on the technical side of it, start to think about how you're going to turn this into a business. And this is, these are some great examples from how Andrea's done that in the past. And I'll let you talk to this because this is great stuff.
Yeah, one of the greatest things was partnering with the American Council on Exercise, which I think is going on about 6 years now. And they have been incredible partners in promoting the course. And that offered me a lot of publicity as well. And so you can see different things. I think we've got like Club Industry here and ACE, and these are just a few snippets being on TV. And you may not feel comfortable being on live TV. But to be honest, it's just about doing what you do. And it's kind of, you pretend the lights, it's not blinking in front of you, and you just do what you do and you're passionate about, and people feel that passion. And the beauty of the media is you're getting this free marketing. It's, I've paid for everything from signs on a bus to street benches and crazy stuff that I thought was going to be, I don't even know what the word, a shoe-in, and it didn't provide anything. So getting out there in the media, and we have another course actually getting published, getting into the magazines, into the newspapers. That's a separate entity. However, we have all of these options available to you.
So, another point that I want to bring up is just, the passion that you have for doing this. Obviously, everybody coming in to take a class like this, you're coming from the standpoint of wanting to help people. You can help people that are going through a cancer diagnosis. You can help folks who have gone through their journey and trying to get back into a better place for themselves. All of the training that you're going to learn from Andrea can also be applied to broader groups of people also, the aging community, diabetes, tackling people who want to work on weight loss and maybe they have some other conditions that they need to work with physically as well. So, just know that we will support you in helping you to sort of push your passion forward. And that's another thing to really focus on is, as you think about taking this course and going through, the process of becoming a cancer exercise specialist. You get the technical training, but the more that you can focus that on where you want to put your passion and think about the customers that you want to work with, that really helps to make the business side of it work as well. So that's one of the things that we also cover in the business classes. How do you really tap into that and then define that for yourself from a business standpoint?
Well, and Greg, I just want to add on to that before you jump into this. One example is athletes, because you talk about using this in different realms. If you've never used goniometric measurements or postural assessments in your practice, you are really missing out and shortchanging your clients, but also your opportunity to grow as a professional and offer just superior services. And so you have cancer patients or survivors who are or were athletes, and maybe that's your niche market. You're focusing on athletes with cancer, and we're going to show you how to build that as well. And there's just so many opportunities. It gets me going thinking about all of the different ways that people can use this. And as part of I mentioned that we have a separate course on how to get yourself published, but we have a lovely student graduate who is a graphic artist who created brochures and business cards and rack cards that are pre-made. She can customize the colors, put your logo, your contact information, even sub out your pictures. And these are all done for you. And I can tell you, hands down, it doesn't cost any more than it does for you to do it on your own or to pay someone else to do it. So think of how much time that saves you. And the wording is perfect as well.
Yeah, those are great. There's 2 cards on lymphedema, 14 lymphedema exercises.
Yeah.
And over time, those have proven to be really, really high quality, marketing tools, not only for, providing great information for people, but they're really well laid out, and they've been really effective for a lot of cancer exercise specialists, and just letting people know what a cancer exercise specialist can offer, and then really offering some important value about lymphedema.
Yeah, indeed. And this is the handbook, but what she did is she took all of this information, which spans a few pages, it's not too many, but and she compiled it into the front and back side of these rack cards, and they're laminated and they're just really beautiful. She did a great job. She also edits the books.
Well, and that's part of the business side is thinking about the people that you want to work with, and then making sure that you put together that professional presentation. So these rack cards are really nice materials to use, but as you think about a business and you think about, okay, what am I going to use for my logo? Do I already have a website? Do I build a new website? What are the tools that I should use and put in place? So, I really encourage everyone to start thinking about, okay, who are the specific groups of people that you want to work with as a cancer exercise specialist? Because just answering that simple question really drives a lot of the decisions that you make. For example, how to design your business card.
Mm-hmm.
So, designing a business card, if you're going to focus on breast cancer, is different than if you're going to be focusing on all cancer survivors in general. You're going to have a much different approach. So the more you can start to think about that now, when we get into the business sessions, it'll help you really start to lay that out.
Absolutely. While you're switching slides, I want to also mention, because you had said something about baby boomers, and we really have a perfect storm right now. When you look at the numbers, the staggering numbers, and although baby boomers is ready to make way for Gen X, but the number of people that are 58 and older, and exponentially they are getting cancer diagnoses compared to the younger population. I mean, it's just the way it is. The older you get, that's why your insurance rates go up. And so when you couple the aging population along with the percentage of them that, up to 60% are going to get some type of cancer, you are missing out if you are not targeting this population. And it's not for everybody. If you're 25 years old, unless you've been personally touched by cancer, you may think, well, that's not up my alley. But if you haven't been touched by it yet, I guarantee you, unfortunately, you will be soon, whether it's an uncle, an aunt, a client, a friend, whatever. So having these skills and being the one person in your gym or your studio to offer these services, that sets you apart because you're the only one that these people are going to go to, even if there's 10 other trainers in that gym. So I'm going to circle back around real quick to the free exposure. And part of the course that we have on building expert status, it entails everything from contacts and how to build your presence. But you can do this alone as well. It's just we try and make things a little more streamlined for you, so you don't have to do all the extra work. But TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, trade publications, and now, of course, you've got every gazillion method of doing it through social media as well, which has really come full circle in the last few years, decade, whatever, compared to newspapers and radio, but they still exist. And so I think, Greg, this is really where you help people to identify their branding. What's your personal story? Do you have a family member that was my story? I had cancer myself, and then my mom had been diagnosed 3 times. My father had 3 cancers, my grandfather, etc. And maybe you just want to give back. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on this, if there's anything to elaborate on.
I think this is, as we've worked with a lot of different cancer exercise specialists and putting together their marketing materials, probably one of the most important pieces that you can think about is your story. So your story of how you got from, your life 10 years ago to the point today where you're interested in becoming a cancer exercise specialist and helping people with cancer exercise, whatever that journey is, get it down on paper, because that story, that bio of you getting from point A to the point that right now where you want to connect with people and help them with cancer exercise is going to be a really important part of you connecting with your future clients. And for all of you, it's going to be a great story, and it's a matter of just really getting it down on paper. And if you don't have that written yet, that's a really important thing to start working on now, because that helps you in your connection, your marketing connection with people as you move forward with this as a business.
And these are great tips that you're providing, Greg, because I talk a little bit about marketing, but obviously that's your forte, and that's what you're teaching everybody. And I will also make suggestions to people as we're going through the sessions of, think about this for today and start thinking about your social media or creating a Facebook group or whatever, so that you can begin to build that community of people who know, like, and trust you, because nobody's going to hire you until they know, like, or trust you. And you can build that relationship even on your social media. And then we call this almost free exposure, because you might have to buy some bagels and coffee or what have you, but not necessarily. There are all types of opportunities. And I always tell people to start with their 6 degrees of separation. So my suggestion to you is make a list of the people you already know that you would start with, telling them, oh, I'm a cancer exercise specialist, I can work with your patients or what have you. And that could be a physical therapist, that could be massage therapists, doctors, nurses. And particularly if you or a family member have gone through it yourself, you already have that team of professionals. So you might offer to, do a lunch and learn, and you don't have to provide the lunch. They can bring their own lunches, but you dedicate 20 to 30 minutes and go in and do a presentation, and teaching them how they can utilize this in their practice. Or you could be speaking to a support group, and maybe you're talking to them about ways to prevent lymphedema. And it doesn't, you're not there to do a sales pitch, but you can hand out your brochures or rack cards, which are your calling cards. They have your contact information, and you can be pretty sure that something like somebody gets lymphedema, which is swelling of the extremity after radiation or lymph node removal. Doesn't happen to everybody, but we do discuss that in depth. But my point is that they've still got your contact information, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to call Andrea. Also events. I got an email from an organization, I think it's colon cancer organization in Oregon, reached out to me. Then it was a little too late because it was happening in the next couple of weeks. But I said, well, next year, why don't you let one of our cancer exercise specialists do a warm up for your group, assuming it's a walk or a run. She said, that's brilliant. I'll contact you well in advance. So the opportunities are endless, and I could go on and on about this, but we'll talk more during the sessions next month. Tomorrow.
Yeah, I just, a quick example. So Jen Tretner is a cancer exercise specialist out in New Jersey, and she's been doing an amazing job. She's a recent graduate of the class, and her example is she connected with her oncology team and let them know that she was going through the cancer exercise specialist program. And the reason that she wanted to talk with them directly is because as she'd gone through the process, she had been into fitness her whole life. And, there wasn't the exercise support that she would have liked. And so, she sort of had to figure out exercising and getting through, getting back to the level that she wanted to be at with exercise on her own. And so that was her reasoning for, okay, I want to show people how to do this as they're going through their own cancer diagnosis. So, the point being is that her 6 degrees of separation was the team that she had worked with on her own. So, if you've got those close connections and you work with the local team, there's ways to turn those into opportunities right away, which is something that she did.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I think warrants an explanation, or not an explanation, but some attention paid to it, is many of you may already be working with cancer patients and have no specific training. And perhaps you're doing a fantastic job and you've done all the work and whatnot, but 9 times out of 10, even people who have are part of the Livestrong program for the YMCA will go through the course and say, wow, Livestrong is fantastic, but I didn't realize what I didn't know. And I learned so much more in the cancer exercise training course. It was like the icing on the cake. And I know a lot of fitness professionals who have good intentions, but really don't know what they're doing. And if you think you know everything, all I can tell you is we have 500 pages of information, 30 videos. It's a lot of information, and you have to build this out like making a cake. You've got your surgeries and their acute and chronic side effects, treatments, acute and chronic side effects, lymphedema. Then you've got the physical assessment, and that doesn't even take into consideration their previous fitness level, orthopedic issues, comorbidities. So if you don't understand how to build that cake, how to make that cake, then you are potentially doing more harm than good to your client, not to mention putting yourself at risk for a lawsuit, because if something happened and you went to court and they can prove gross negligence, which would be, yeah, you have no specific training, in a medical area, that's a problem. So having a certification behind you, having that training protects you and your clients. And I think we've kind of already touched on these things, the 6 degrees of separation. We obviously want to build this rapport with medical professionals if we're a fitness professional, and if you're and vice versa, because everybody, look, just like fitness professionals competing with others, doctors are competing as well. I mean, when you're making the decision on what surgeon to go to, hopefully you're doing your research. So you're going to want to go to that medical professional who's got an integrative cancer program, and this can be part of it. And then lastly, having client testimonials speaks volumes, and you can use those on your website or your marketing materials as well. And I said it again, they need to know, like, and trust you. How many times have you made the mistake of, going to work with somebody that you kind of were apprehensive about? There was something that rubbed you wrong, and you probably didn't know them enough. You didn't have any way to determine if you like or trust them. So start to build that relationship.
Well, here are some of the marketing tools that, Andrea can get into in a little bit more detail from her experience. I think one of the things that's really proven to be effective is the lymphedema flyers, and then there's a few others that Andrea's had really good success with. But I think, a key thing for all of you is to start thinking about what are those marketing tools that you want to provide to people. So there's not only the things on this list. One of the things that I encourage people in the business side of things to think about is think about a free offering that you can provide to people as a marketing tool to connect with people, get email addresses, contacts.
Yeah.
That can be everything from, doing a free weekly webinar on a health topic to doing an actual exercise on a weekly basis. You can do all of these things through social media and online and video, where you're providing free information or content for people. That's a way to also build into your marketing tool set that you see here. So, start to think about these marketing tools now as early as possible. And then that helps you when you get to making all these business decisions about what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, real quick, obviously we've got things that range from 50 cents to, $15 here. And when you think about a water bottle, for example, which would be at the top of the price point for a lot of people, t-shirts can be pretty spendy also. All of these things, unless you're buying huge volumes, they can be quite costly. So you really want to think about not only what product you're offering, because does anybody really care about your magnet or your pen? Pens are going to run out of ink. So if it's an ugly magnet, you're not putting it on the refrigerator. And so one of the things I learned a long time ago is, what is the shelf life? So back in the day, when we used to have phone books that were actually, paper, and, like my parents would have address books, and it was gold. God forbid they lost that. They lost contact with everyone they ever knew. That had a shelf life. I still have my father's little phone book, with all the handwritten names. And so people used to place advertisements on, the front and back cover, because they knew that nobody was throwing away their phone book unless it, got doused in water or something. A calendar, it's good for 12 months, which isn't bad. If it's a nice looking calendar, somebody, puts it on their wall. And if they're going to buy a house, they go, oh yeah, here's this real estate agent I'll call. But you want to think about what is of use to the patient or the client. So what you're seeing in the little picture here is a little zip pouch. And these are just examples of other things, but I call it the lymphedema prevention kit. And in it, you've got some Band-Aids, some bacitracin, and some antibacterial wipes. And then, much like, excuse me, the rack cards that we've mentioned, you might put a couple ways to prevent lymphedema. And then on the other side is your logo and your contact phone number. Now, this is much more expensive. It's probably 4 or 5 times the price point of the rack cards. But once again, it's something of value, as are the rack cards, that the doctor is going to give to their patient because it is of value to the patient. The doctor is not giving out your water bottles or your t-shirts or your pens. Not going to happen. So think about your return on investment. And whether you're working with cancer patients or anybody else, these tools, literally and figuratively, that we're giving you are going to help build your business, whether it's cancer or youth training or senior training or osteoporosis. You can apply all of this, and you should.
All right. Well, here's the money question, which is one of the topics that's always um, one of the most interested topics by all the students going through this, and that is, how much do you charge for your services as a cancer exercise specialist? Can you charge more for cancer patients? And, why should you get paid the rate that you're getting paid? I think for everyone, because, there's a little bit of psychology that goes along with this, in that we all want to help people. So, there may be those who think, okay, I don't want to charge anything, or maybe I should charge much less because of, the difficult situation that a person is in going through this journey. What I encourage everyone to think about is think about the value of what you're providing. If you look at what's provided by the doctors, by the physical therapists, by the personal trainers in your community, they're all focused on very specific high value elements that people need as they're going through a cancer journey. The doctors are helping people to actually get rid of the cancer with the treatments and the things that they go through. Sometimes exercise is sort of something they refer people to. Same thing on the physical therapy side of the equation. They're going to deal with wherever the specific surgery took place and help take care of that. What happens after that point for the long term, that's where you come in as a cancer exercise specialist, and you're going to provide huge value for that person. And same thing on personal training. Not every personal trainer is going to be comfortable in working with all of the intricacies that Andrea mentioned about dealing with cancer patients. So the bottom line with all of this is you're providing an incredibly high value service in helping people. So, in the business class, we go through how to really do the research to figure out what your price should be. But the bottom line is that your price should be at the top end of the marketplace because of the value that you provide as a cancer exercise specialist. And that's your marketing price, the marketing price that you provide for people. And then what we do is we give you some structures to help work with people. Not everybody's going to have the financial means to work with the pricing mechanisms that you have in place. So we provide you with some tools to figure out how to work with more people and make sure that you can serve as many people as possible. And I know you've got some perspective on that as well, Andrea.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot like what we do. We do offer partial scholarships to those in need who want to get this training, who don't have the means, because we realize the importance that you can provide to so many other people. It's exponential. And so the same thing. I mean, we know that there are going to be people who cannot afford it. They don't have 2 nickels to rub together after chemo, after, whatever other expenses. And you can and absolutely should do some pro bono, but you allot that. This is how I look at it. You say, I'm going to do 5 hours a month of pro bono, or I'm going to take on 1 new client for free every, however long, or it doesn't even have to be for free. It could be $10. It could be, you want people to have some skin in the game, because when you get something completely for free, oftentimes, not always, people don't put the same value on it. And, they may not take it as seriously. So these are just, you're going to work to figure out the best protocol for you. These are just ideas that Greg and I are sharing with you from our personal and professional experience. And then once you are certified, and the way to go about this is you do have to pass 125 question exam. It is a very difficult exam, as it should be, in order to work with this population. However, it is open book and untimed. So you can come and go, and you take your time. And I look at it as part of the learning process, because if I have to go through and I'm, spending an hour trying to find the answer, I'm not likely to forget that. So this is a method of studying and learning that I have found to be extremely effective, rather than just straight up memorization. Once you're certified, you'll get your formal, certificate, as well as your continuing education credits, and then you'll be listed on our international directory. So people, and we promote the directory regularly, driving people towards our cancer exercise specialists. We have pre-written books that we customize for you. So there are certain parts that are specifically you. Your bio, your specific offer. You can replace the pictures in the books with your own pictures. There you go. But you don't have to go through the trouble of actually writing the book. And these are very, very reasonable. And it can be turned around pretty quickly. It just depends how long it takes you to get the pictures in order and get us all of the information that we need. So that is one option. And there are 3 different books. One is general cancer, which you're looking at. Then there's breast cancer, and then there's lymphedema. So you can kind of choose what feels right to you. Another fantastic marketing tool, and you are now a published author, so you can either use these as downloads, and Greg had mentioned getting people's email addresses and contact information, so that's kind of the bait. You can sell them on your website. You can leave them in doctors' offices. Again, it's got tremendous value for the medical professional to give to their patients. We have a private Facebook group, and this is wonderful because we've got doctors, personal trainers, physical therapists, nurses, cancer patients, survivors, all in our group. They've all either gone through the course and passed, and perhaps they've been working for years with cancer patients, or they're currently going through. You can talk to them about the test. You can talk to them about building their business. You can ask questions about your own recovery. It's a really great community that is only open to those who are registered for the Cancer Exercise Specialist course.
All right. Well, last couple of points here in the training that you get, and I think just from the perspective of you becoming the local cancer exercise expert, the focus for you of helping people with cancer exercise can easily be taken globally outside of your local community, depending on how you're thinking of building a business associated with this. Mm-hmm. If you're comfortable in the virtual space, it makes it much, much easier to work with people outside your local community, in your state, in your country, around the world. Providing video sessions, providing video training, working with people one-on-one in that video type environment. We've all seen the explosion of that over the last few years. So that's a great opportunity for anyone who wants to work on the cancer exercise specialist certification and the training to use that as a business. There's plenty of opportunities to just also focus on your local community. If you think about your community as a range of 100 or 200 miles and look at all of the, for example, clinics or places where people will go through a cancer diagnosis and treatment and connect with those facilities in your area, there's going to be more than enough business for you once you get things going as a cancer exercise specialist. So, we'll show you both sides of the equation as we go through all the business classes to be either, local, or if you want to expand things into the global marketplace, there's amazing opportunities for everyone. So we'll cover all of that in the class structure, and look forward to seeing what all of you are able to do as a cancer exercise specialist in the future. Well, thank you very much. I think that covers all the topics that we had for today and becoming the local cancer exercise specialist. I'm going to try and share my screen here to look at the course that we have upcoming here. Maybe I've got a couple slides here.
While you're doing that, I want to just share something else. I you guys, I'm
Oh,
sure,
you got it.
yeah, has heard of
Awesome.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And this is just a case in point. So Bryant Johnson, who has a phenomenal background, I think mostly military background. He had the pleasure or good fortune or experience of working with RBG for a very long time. I think he worked with her for about 20 years. And this is a really, really sweet book. But I think the interesting point is that he just, we actually gave him a partial scholarship to participate in this course. And even he, though he's famous in a sense for working with RBG, realized that he needed more training, more content or more on oncology. And this book, it was interesting because it's a great workout for seniors. It has nothing to do with cancer. It's just a very, general safe workout, which I absolutely love. And I would say, for any older person, this is a great tool. But case in point is he realized that there is more and there is more to know. And even if you work with a breast cancer survivor or a prostate cancer survivor or patient, we go through 27 types of cancer, all the different surgeries and treatments. We update our content every 2 years because it is ever changing. And every cancer journey is different. So don't think that it's a cookie cutter, workout that just because you've worked with one person, you've got this and you can work with everybody else. It's not that easy. I wish it were, but it's not.
All right. Well, so how do you get started with this? The the class that we have, the class that we have starting tomorrow on August 1st is, what's listed on our website is the live virtual training for August. There's a huge amount of value in that. What's included is the self-study course for the Cancer Exercise Training Institute that is now in the 13th edition. So there's input from many years into the content, and that's what Andrea was talking about. There's 500 pages of materials and videos and other content to help you learn these 27 different cancer types. So all of that is included in the August class. What we also do is the two of us host 13 live sessions over the course of the month. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, Andrea will cover the cancer exercise topics. And then on Wednesdays, I'll walk you through business topics and help you think about from A to Z, how do you turn what you're thinking about with the cancer exercise specialist training into a business that you can plan and use going forward. Andrea is also going to help you with just making sure, okay, how do you study through all of this content to make sure that you're ready to take that final exam? I also provide, you can't really cover what you may specifically want to do as a business over the course of these sessions that we do as a group. So one of the following on things that we offer is I'll do a one-on-one session with everybody in the class. Once you get a certain point into the class, probably mid-month, just schedule a one-on-one session and we can talk specifically about your business plans. We've also added a how to build your own cancer exercise course, especially if you're thinking about that virtual offering and offering things to social media groups and an online presentation of what you want to do as a cancer exercise specialist. We'll show you how to go through that and build your own course. And then we also have yoga and Pilates resources, which are handbooks that add on to what you do as a cancer exercise specialist and give you some additional material. Anyway, all of that is, close to $2,000 in course value that we bring to the table. And we have an offering that ends tomorrow where you can either start for only $10 right now, and then 5 payments of $110, or you can purchase the whole package for $549. So if you're thinking about the course, get registered before tomorrow night, and we will get things kicked off tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you in the class.
Yep, I do as well. And if you have any questions, you can also reach out to me and or Greg, but you can just do Andrea at thecancerspecialist.com. So thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, we can hang out for a minute, and feel free to put them in the chat box. And if not, we will see you tomorrow.
Go
ahead.
I don't see anything in the chat. So thank you very much for joining today. And if you're watching the recording, again, we look forward to seeing you in class over the course of the month.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.